So the Vancouver Canucks have yet another break today. No games until tomorrow. They've got the Florida Panthers, the reigning defending two-time Stanley Cup champions, on Tuesday. So I wanted to use this little bit of a break to talk about Canucks superstar Elias Pettersson and ask the question as to whether or not it's just gotten worse following some of the comments made about Pettersson by Canucks head coach Adam Foote. We all know the context here. We all know the story. Pettersson was on pace for a Hall of Fame career before the injury, which started to catch up to him in the second half of the 23-24 campaign. Add on to this issues, interpersonal issues with teammates like JT Miller, a head coach that didn't believe in him and that didn't trust him, and an $11.6 million cap hit that kicked in at the start of the season after. Elias Pettersson and his 38 points in 58 games played this season, on pace for 49 points over 74 games, is not playing up to the dollar amount that he is making. He is overpaid. There are parts of his game that are actually pretty fine, like, oh, he blocks shots. Oh, his two-way play. That's great. But he's not shooting the puck, and he's not scoring either. The points are not coming. He is no longer a 100-point caliber player, or at least he's not playing like a 100-point caliber player. So with all that said, I wanted to dive into these comments made by Adam Foote yesterday about Elias Pettersson following their practice, whether or not Pettersson is putting in the effort, and how he's trying to end his 20-game goal drought. Here is what Adam Foote ended up saying on Pettersson putting in the work to find a way out of his slump. He was out there today at 11:05 a.m. for an 11:30 practice. He was working. He's been on the bike after games riding, so he's doing the work. He had the breakaway twice in overtime, in Winnipeg and against Nashville. I was never a goal scorer, so I don't know how it feels to go through that. I'm sure at times he feels like it weighs on him. When he's moving his feet, he's having success on the ice, and he knows that. And he's trying to keep reminding himself of that. Even at practice today, you saw when he practices his shot in the first couple of drills, he was moving and he ripped a couple off the bar and in. Obviously, we want him to score, but I like the attitude of the work he's putting in. He can just work until he gets through it. Now, here's the issue with that. Elias Pettersson has been working through it, presumably for the past 20 games worth of time the Vancouver Canucks have been playing, and presumably over the past, 2 years or so? Sure, there may have been an injury that really slowed this guy down, and compiled with the teammate dynamics and the coaching dynamics between Tocchet and Miller and everybody else that was involved there, it could have really mentally torn apart the player that Pettersson was. And I honestly do subscribe to that idea. But now, seeing the head coach going out there and saying all this stuff like, oh yeah, no, he's actually putting in a lot of effort. He's going out there early. He's going out there working. He's playing. He's riding. And in practice, he's going out there, he's shooting, he's going off the bar and in, he's doing all this stuff. To me, it seems like the guy is just so mentally out of it. And that is not new commentary on Elias Pettersson and the profile that he possesses. We all had this idea already established in our minds that, yeah, the guy is not playing well because he doesn't feel like he can play well. He's got the yips, he's got some sort of a mental block, he doesn't shoot, he doesn't do the same dynamic things that he was able to do in the past. You could even see it in the way he conducts himself in interviews. It's like, yeah, Pettersson doesn't have that same level of swagger that he once had. He's a lot more of just a professional now. And whether or not that's a good or a bad thing for a guy who's making $11.6 million and is only playing like a $5 million caliber guy, that's your prerogative. Top reply to this tweet goes out there and says, honestly, it's even more concerning if he's working that hard, but he isn't scoring. I honestly do understand where this commenter is coming from. It's either that or he's just snake-bitten. This reply says, no, What's concerning is that the Canucks have no playmaking wingers to open up the ice and allow Pettersson room to breathe. Nobody gives a crap about Kane, DeBrusk, Besser, or Höglander. They're all shooting below 10%. DeBrusk, Kane, and Höglander have less than 7% shooting. Petey is at 16. So, is there an element of that in play as well? Is the quality of Vancouver's winger core making it so much more difficult for a guy like Elias Pettersson to actually produce because all the attention is on him and nobody really gives the respect to any of these other guys because they're not doing all too well this season either? Another reply says nobody cares, trade him in the offseason, he got the bag, and he checked out. And then a further reply says Elias Pettersson is a different player than he was 2 years ago. He's now a 190-foot player. He's still a great player and will figure out the last 10 feet. Ignore the contract. Now, let's go out there and see the other replies here. This was kind of funny. The guy makes $32,000 a day, and we're supposed to be impressed that he showed up for practice 25 minutes early? Give me a break. Canucks fans never change, eh? It's all about perspective. I'd like to make $32,000 a day to show up to practice 25 minutes early. The only problem is I'm 5'3", 140 pounds, so I can't really do much myself, let alone be an NHL caliber athlete. Let's go out there and read some of the quote tweets over here. Fans are still responding that Pettersson needs to be moved still. If Crosby can do it at almost 40, why can't some of these bums? So, ultimately, I do think that the Elias Pettersson discourse, it's hard to find any solutions. It's hard to have somebody in a position of authority, whether it's the coach or the GM or a teammate or even Pettersson himself. It's hard to have anybody say anything that will convince fans otherwise. Because at the end of the day, Elias Pettersson hasn't scored a goal since January whatever against the Ottawa Senators. It's been over 2 months. He hasn't had a goal in the NHL since then. 2 goals against Slovakia, that's it. The guy's not scoring. He's not looking as tenacious on the puck. And the limited opportunities that he does get in overtime, in the shootout, there isn't really that hope that it's actually going to go in. I don't know if any of y'all have noticed this as well, but like, when you watched Elias Pettersson on the breakaway in back-to-back overtimes the past few games, did you think he was going to score? Because when I watched him on the breakaway against Nashville, for example, I was like, let's see who actually ends up getting the puck or the rebound or whatever. I'm like, it doesn't really feel like Pettersson has those Datsukian-like hands to be able to dangle out a goaltender and make it work. Remember when Pettersson was scoring Forsberg goals in shootouts? Now he's slow and he doesn't really have that same calculating activation ability. It seems more like he's tentative. These are all things that we have said about Petey endlessly. And now we've got the head coach going out there and saying that, yeah, he's actually out there on practice 25 minutes early. So he's doing pretty well. He's doing a lot of this stuff. I like how Foote even says, yeah, I was never a goal scorer, so I don't know how it feels to go through a slump like that. But I'm sure he wants to get better. Like, yeah. Starting to think that Adam Foote really does know how to be the tank commander. He's not, like, admitting it, but nah, this guy's perfect. Leave him here. Let him be in Vancouver for years while the team sucks and gets Landon DuPont and all the other guys in the upcoming NHL drafts. But with that said, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Did Adam Foote just make it worse for Elias Pettersson and Vancouver Canucks fans? Do you think that these comments indicate a positive trend and a positive change in direction for Petey? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this video, and bye.